Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another day in the markets. We're going to get right after it because it looks like price is moving. Already got a push above yesterday's high. And maybe a rejection. I don't know. We got some action though. Morning, Paul. Hey, Michael. Nice. We're marking yesterday's high here because it looks like that is right where you're at, like to the T right now. That makes sense. This big move here, coming off an overshoot, had a nice tidy channel right up here. We overshot it to the top, getting that steep correction back to the key level. Make sure you guys are saying what's up as you come in this morning. Start off the day right. Yeah, this thing is really correcting. We're getting the same action over on NQ. Wonder if we have an overshoot. Let's see, channel started here at the bottom. Yeah, it does look like a possible overshoot there on Nasdaq too. So both indices doing the exact same thing, which is wonderful. That's going to help us out substantially as the day gets underway. Let's also mark yesterday's high. Also, we are right at it. So many similarities between the two markets today, which is great. Good morning, Ed. I believe we had some reports already. Yeah, so we already got through month over month earnings, non-farm employment, and the unemployment rate. A little bit of mixed bag economically. Earnings are right where they're forecasted. Non-farm is down pretty substantially from what was forecasted, but the unemployment rate is a little bit better. So, a little mixed bag. I don't think those kind of numbers are going to really cause a trend of any sort. But of course, we did have some volatile candles. Good morning, Ron. Hey, Joanne. Let's get at it. Let's do it for sure. snowy afternoon from Holland. That sounds lovely. Waiting to see if this move down has some follow through below yesterday's high. Right now we're just kind of camping right at it. We got like 3.5 minutes till the open too. Yep, both markets just pushed down really quick and they're just stalling out here, not doing anything. Interesting. Good morning, Jonathan. Hey, Bill, Stephanie, Julian, Philip, Neil. It was good to see you guys. It'll be very interesting to see what happens on the open because it looks, by the looks of it, unless something changes in the next minute, we're going to be opening right on yesterday's high. So starting off the day on a contentious level. Hopefully we don't spend all day chopping there, which is basically what we did yesterday. At the previous day's low, we just all day right there. Hopefully we will not suffer a similar fate. But here we go. Market's open. It is that time. See what this market's made of. So far, staying below yesterday's high. NQ also dropping down below it. And this downtrend on NQ still looks valid, actually. Maybe. Actually, maybe it doesn't. It does look like a break in new low. But either way, we're going to give this market some time. There's nothing super clear just yet. Let it settle in and see what the bias for the day is. Well, hope everyone did good yesterday. How'd you guys fare in all that chop? Did you get chopped up? Were you able to take a little bit from the market? Scalp your way to victory? Or maybe did you just not trade? That's certainly a fair option. Good morning, Tom. Similar pattern so far to yesterday, where the ES a little bit stronger than the Nasdaq. You can see the S&P hanging out right here around the key level. Nasdaq still is below it. We will see which one wins out. Wow, look how tight this price action is. Absolute sideways of a range here. Starting to make an attempt higher. Still way too early to tell if this level is going to hold as support or resistance. NQ started to bounce and then not so much. Looking pretty heavy. Good morning, all y'all who just popped in. Happy Friday to everybody. Again, make sure you're hitting like on your way in, saying what's up in the chat. Let's finish this week off right, guys, eh? I am going to reload my chart right now too, just to make sure got some fresh data coming through. Most accurate possible chart we can have. All right, S&P remaining above that key level. That is one mark for the bulls so far. Above yesterday's high, above the previous day's low. Quite the bounce on NQ too. It really took off here. Beautiful double higher low if you were adventurous enough to risk that trade. A little too early in the day for me. No clear bias yet, but starting to get some clarity. We're coming up on the low from yesterday on Nasdaq. And also the overnight high. If we can get above that, I'll be pretty bullish. But overall, this action is quite rangy. Big V-shaped reversals in both directions. So far, looking like a range. The next key level for ES is quite a ways above us. That high from the 7th a couple days ago. And the structure is a little bit difficult to map out, 'cause even if we're looking at this uptrend here, looks like we have another overshoot, and you can see what happened last time we had an overshoot. Big correction to the downside, so we got to be cautious. That could happen again. Come on, baby. Let's get some movement here. Good morning, McLeese. Good morning, sunshine to you. Getting that correction that we were expecting a little bit here. Testing below the 21. Fat Grammy. I like McLeese better. All right, there we are below the EMA. NQ still holding above the 21 there, showing a little bit of strength compared to the S&P. I do think we're going to get a little drop. I'm going to take an experimental short here on the Nasdaq if we can get it to fill. Just experimenting here, kids. All right. See if we can break through that little support. And it should be a nice little flush, but S&P kind of looks like it wants to bounce, so we'll see if this can actually work. Ooh, so close. All right, we're going to get out before this turns around majorly on us. S&P with a nice little bounce up. Close above the 21 so far. Maybe if we get a higher low on ES, I can take it. All right, got it back in that Nasdaq trade. There we go. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we were expecting. Boom. Out. Could have some follow through, but I was just looking for that little flush. We're right back at that key level. This is... We'll see how strong the bulls are. But this is, again, looking very much like a range when you have these big whipsaws back and forth. Big move ups, looking like a really solid trend. Boom, gets destroyed. Move down, looks pretty dang good. Reverses. Does have a little break and low, but reverses really strongly. Back above that key level. Move up here, overshoot, could lead to an uptrend, boom, gets smacked down. So that's an early indication of range style price action, which is what we saw yesterday. But that's all I was playing on that experimental trade there, recognizing this pattern coming into play. It already repeated itself several times. Right here, and oh shoot, you guys can't see what I'm doing. Right here, repeated itself right here, and so assuming that's probably going to happen here again, and then coming off the overshoot, stalling out, was expecting that flush, and there we go. Yes, moving back down to that key level and holding it pretty decently. I'm actually considering going long here. If we get a nice bar, this will be a double higher low. It does need to close above the EMA for me, which it did not, so I'm going to skip that. NQ stalling out at the key level, so is ES. This is exactly what happened yesterday. Michael saying news in 8 minutes. That's right. We do have consumer sentiment and inflation expectations, and this will be the last news release of the week. I do think this one could be significant. We shall see. Probably won't be taking a trade until after the news, so 7 minutes here. So far, a little bounce off that level, but everything can change once that news hits, so just wait a second. NQ also had a nice little bounce off that level, but yeah, what do we got now? 5 minutes. 5 minutes, that all could change. Ooh, this higher low would be quite tempting if it wasn't for the news. Double higher low on NQ and actually on ES too, but oh man, you guys are all right. The tariff decision. Forgot about that. Yeah, that should be an interesting one, eh? Definitely gonna have my news feed up for that. Well, no wonder the market's just hanging out here. It is certainly waiting for something to happen. All right, basically big range forming here. We've got to get out of this area if we want a legitimate trade. And actually, even more than a range, this is looking like a big wedge. Got rising lows, dropping highs. And that is one of, I would say, maybe even the most crappy pattern in all of price action. Camo asking, what do I look for with the channels? I'm supposing you're meaning all of the channels that I've drawn on here, like here and here and here. I would suggest you go watch some of the videos on my channel and break down that exactly. Basically, we're trading with these mini trends, either looking for them to continue or waiting until they're played out and looking for a reversal, but not ever trading against the trends. That's that in a nutshell. Right, there is a 7 o'clock news. Consumer sentiment a little bit higher than predicted, and inflation right at where it was last time. So no change there. Still don't have Supreme Court news, at least published. So we'll wait until we see something on that. Could be a little bit delayed. Yeah, so the inflation news, not doing much to the market at all. We didn't have any big numbers or anything. So I am being a little bit cautious here, waiting for the Supreme Court decision. Could be a while though, honestly. Like sometimes those kind of things do not get released exactly when they say they are going to. The market is clearly waiting for it though. We're seeing a lot of volatility compressed in this tiny little zone. Nope, no ruling happening today. It just came out. Supreme Court is not issuing tariff ruling today. So there you go. That was our one potential catalyst. Not happening today, looks like. So let's see if the market can kind of do what it's going to do without that. Camo, no, I do not. Mostly because that term was created by a proven scammer, so not something I'm going to waste my time on. All right, we're down at the bottom of the range, which is also that key level. We can break below this, should be quite bearish. Needs to also hold. Normally I'd be looking for a buy as we're at the bottom of this range, but since this is a key level, it could very easily be a flush. And I don't want to stand in the way of that. Oh, there we go. Yep. Little flush action. Breaking down below that level too is Nasdaq. See if the trend holds, and we'll look for a pullback to go short. Diego. Ah, San Diego. It's going good. Good to have you. NQ still is not broken, that overnight low level. And ES is approaching it right now. As long as this trend holds, I'll be looking for a short. Hopefully we can get a pullback here pretty soon. Both indices just immediately stopped here right at the overnight low. You can see Nasdaq happening right there. So now on a pullback, the short does not look as good. Well, I still will consider a short if this pullback looks really good and the EMA is held as resistance. So I'm watching this really close here. We got one leg of the pullback. If we get one attempt lower and then a second leg, bearish bar right here, you can certainly consider the short. Yeah, we're closing above the 21 EMA there, so not looking like that short's going to set up. Wow, quite the bounce. Look at that. All the way back above that key level. However, it does look like an overshoot. This is not great price action, guys. As I mentioned earlier, very indicative of a range when you keep having these big swings above and below the EMA with no follow through on trends. But we'll continue to look for setups nonetheless. With this push up, be looking for a long. If the pullback holds the EMA really well. Got to break above that key level. As long as it holds, we're going to be bullish. We'll be watching this pullback very, very closely. NQ has a really nice tight channel. Looks much better than ES right now. Okay, here comes the pullback. Again, we're just watching. Make sure that it doesn't reverse on us again. So we want this pullback to be pretty gradual, have a couple bounces at this key level. We'll take that second bounce for a long. Come on, baby. Let's test that EMA. Let's test that key level. See what the bulls are made of. Not quite pulled back all the way there. We're not able to get to the 21. We're not able to get to that key level. So we got to be patient. You don't want to chase this, because then when it actually does pull back, you're going to be really upset. This trend could even possibly be played out. We had a little close outside of it right here and a new high. Same on NQ. Move up, close outside, and new high.
Connection lost.
Yeah, we did not get the pullback there, guys. NQ now challenging that key level. High from yesterday, low from the previous day. Bulls are really trying to make a run at this thing. I'm still being patient here though, because this is easily where we could get a reversal. After this uptrend already had a break and a new high, that's when we would typically expect a correction. Plus, we're at a potential resistance area, so again, need to be a little bit patient. If this thing just keeps going higher, and especially if it pulls back and holds that, then we're going to be bullish, but you don't want to anticipate that. Well, you want to anticipate it, but you don't want to put a trade on in anticipation of that. ES is also at the highs, and then a lot of room above to that next key level. Well, anyway, y'all, this is the time to be patient and see what happens at this key level. Again, if we go up from here and are able to hold it, and it's exactly where prices are right now on NQ, same on ES, if we're able to hold that as support, look for a long. If we turn down from here, very likely we'll be in a range for the rest of the day, and we'll be playing reversals. So looking for trends to play out and then play in the reversals. So stand between two possibilities for the day. It will be interesting to see which one plays out. Obviously a trend day would be more preferable, but anyway, I'll be over in Discord trading it. Hopefully we'll have some good setups. Got a couple great ones yesterday. Otherwise, hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week. Peace.